Today was a big day. It's the end of the month. It's always a fascinating day because so many things get put in that mill leading up to the last day of the month. Sometimes today is wild and sometimes it's quiet. We had 9 closings today, 1 remote and 8 in an office. And we are thrilled to say that timing is everything. What do I mean by timing is everything? I've been having a lot of awesome conversations with you out there where you're asking, how do we do so many in one day? How does that play out in terms of the rhythm of the work? If you're new, you're thinking, oh my gosh, one a day. That feels like a lot to do one a day. And I can appreciate that, of course. This is after 10 years of practice, so it makes a big difference. But we were doing this many in the early days as well with our partners. So one of the tricks is being able to come up with a system and being able to come up with a way to communicate with people, both your title companies as well as the signers, that is efficient and effective. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips. The first tip I'm going to give you is to literally decide what is your system. And I'm not talking about, I know what the closing disclosure is. I know what an ALTA statement is. I know what an occupancy statement is. That's a given, right? We all need to know or be able to understand or interpret for our signers the documents that we're getting them to sign. And often that's as simple as just reading a couple of lines. But I'm talking about having you think strategically about a system that you can put in place where you will never forget to get an ID, well, you will never forget to check a date, but it's not just random. It's not just let me remember every single thing I'm supposed to do perfectly, because we're humans and that's just not really realistic. Having a system is what has made us so successful, and we've developed it over time. I will give you another tip, and that is, and I talked to somebody, I was coaching somebody earlier this week, and I said, who is speaking more in your closing appointments, you or the people signing the documents? Who is speaking more in your closing appointments? Now, we want to have banter. We want to be sociable. This is a really big deal for these folks. And we come at it from a place of service. How do we make this an exceptional experience? How is it almost surprisingly excellent for them, where they come out and they're just thinking, that was amazing. I, I had a great time. It was quick and easy. I understood everything. And I'm so excited. I thought that was going to take forever and I was scared to death. And it was awesome. Or that was great. I've done this a million times and it took such a little bit of time. It was awesome for me. That's our end goal as American Elite Notary, right? Our goal is for people to have a surprisingly exceptional experience, to have a joyful experience as they're doing this. And part of that is being efficient and effective with our language. Language is so powerful. And in my opinion, it's often overused. Full disclosure, I was an English minor by accident at the University of Virginia. Huge English nerd, big fan of Einstein, right? Why would you use 20 words to describe something when you could use 3? Now, the end goal is effective and efficient communication. If the end user isn't understanding what you're saying, that's not what we're going for. But I would just advise you to think of a system that might work. And we share one with American Elite Notary in our signature loan signing program. But you can, if you have been doing this for a while, you could hunker down and really think strategically, what could I do? How can I make this more efficient and more effective while still being highly useful to my end user? And then think, am I the one talking more in these meetings, or is it my client? Because I'm telling you right now, if you're taking over an hour to do all of your closings, that can be fixed. And time in this event is not just money, it's also customer satisfaction. Because what you want is a happy customer at the end of the day, whether it's the mortgage officer or the person signing. And the bottom line is you can do this. Anybody can do this, whether you are easy with words or not, or whether you know exactly what you're doing at the signing table or not, you can 1000% do this. So think on your system, think on being efficient and effective with your language, and think in the next closing I'm going to do, they're going to be talking more than me. I hope the rest of your evening is amazing. If you have other topics you'd like to hear from, shout it out below. We're so excited to be coming to you live around 5 every Monday through Friday, sharing our tips and tricks, and we can't wait to hear about your happy signings. I hope you have a great evening and take care.